You can say hi to Facebook and
What's up,
Twitter.
Facebook? The only app I actually post on. What's good?
Say hi to YouTube.
What's up, YouTube? The app
And
I fall asleep on
Instagram
tonight.
is being problematic, but we can
Instagram is
fix
always
it.
problematic. What about Twitter? Are we on Twitter yet? Where am I
Wherever else,
problematic?
I'll get Instagram up, but we can probably start.
All right, cool. What's up, everybody? We live, gang. Another week, another Berkeley slam. We got a dope ass slam and a dope ass feature for y'all tonight. But first, today's show is brought to you by our supporters over on Patreon and viewers like you. This show, while super rewarding, still has to abide by the merciless rules of capitalism. So every contribution that you give us helps Rich Oak Events plan, budget, and ensure that we're paying our featured artists, supporting local fledgling writers, and providing a space for the East Bay community to enjoy live art. So thank you, in particular, Jessica Kozakic, Emily Chow, Kalalili, Stephanie Yaboya, and Renee Edmonds. We want to thank in particular Renee Edmonds, Stephanie Yaboa, Emily Chow, and Kalalili for being regular supporters. Shout out to Jessica Kosakic for sponsoring one of our weekly workshops, and a special Risk It for the Biscuits shout out to Alice Grimm and Rebecca Abraham for pledging $100 a month in support of one of our venues, the Allen Bluford Center. If you enjoy what you see tonight, or just love the arts and believe in the reparation and liberation of oppressed people, please head on over to patreon.com/Rich Oak Events. There you can sign up for different tiers of support, all the way from $2 a month, all the way up to $100 a month. But any contribution you give us helps us meet our goals, pay our venues, and give back to the community. If this interests you, head over to patreon.com/Rich Oak Events. But Colin, what if we don't have the monetary support to be able to donate monthly, but we would still like to donate one time? Well, I am so glad that I pretended y'all asked. If you only want to donate one time, we do accept donations via Cash App, #, Rich Oak Events, or Venmo at Rich Oak Slam. Thank y'all so much for all of your support. And now on with your regularly scheduled program. Gang. We got a show for y'all. We got a slam. I am your host through this lovely competition. For those of y'all who don't know, slam is a poetry competition. We have judges, we have poets who will be performing to see who's the best of the night, and 4 cash prizes, because it's not a competition without a prize that's actually worth sitting here and telling our deepest, darkest feelings to random strangers. But like any competition, we have a set of rules. First off, we got rules for the poets. First is that no props, no musical accompaniment, no animal acts, no nudity. But most importantly, you have 3 minutes with a grace period of 10 seconds to do whatever you want. After 3 minutes and 10 seconds, points will be deducted by our scorekeeper, Reggie Sama. Everybody give it up for Reggie for doing math on a Wednesday night. Gang. So y'all don't know how to give it up for math? Nobody's all right. But yeah, after 4 minutes, after 4 minutes, you will be muted by Arvind. Please don't go over 4 minutes. Like, I honestly don't care if you go over 3 minutes. The points don't matter. The poetry matters. But at 4 minutes, I now have to get on stage and act like you weren't just muted in the middle of your poem. That's going to be awkward for me. It's going to be awkward for you. But most importantly, it's going to be awkward for me. So let's try not to go over 4 minutes. We also have people from different time zones, so we would like to respect their time as well. And last but not least, we also have word of the day, our time-honored tradition. Our word of the day is intersperse, which is a verb that means to insert at intervals among other things, or interspersing drawings throughout text. Example, interspersing drawings throughout the text, or to place something at intervals in or among, like to intersperse a book with pictures. Did they really just write the same definition twice to make it seem like they're an actual dictionary? I guess they did, but it really just means to intersperse, to to insert things or place things at an interval. Poets, if you use intersperse, interspersing, intersperse, any version of the word intersperse in your poem for the first round, you will be given an extra point. Judges, you do not have to worry about this extra point. Our scorekeeper will take care of it. And speaking of our judges, y'all have rules too. Judges will be judging from 0.0 to 10.0 using 1 decimal point. 0.0 is the worst piece of shit you have ever heard in your life. Like, even thinking about that poem makes you dry heave. Sometimes I actually throw up, and that's without even hearing the poem a second time. You would honestly rather die and take everyone you love with you than live in a world where that dumbass poem exists. A 10.0 is the best poem you have ever heard in your life. This has done something as consequential as curing cancer. This poet spoke this, in the flowers in your garden that have been neglected for 20 years suddenly started to bloom, and you would rather die and take everyone you love with you than live in a world where every poem is not going to be good. The point being is that there aren't many zeros, there aren't many 10s. Score accordingly. We have this thing going around in slam. It is called score creep. It is when, as the night goes on and we get more comfortable, start feeling the vibes and everything, we start to score higher. Don't do that shit. That isn't fair to the people who had to go first when you were kind of dead and vibeless. So to help you stay consistent, we will have a sacrifice. This person will go first. You will score them as if they are in the slam, however they are not competing. Anybody who you like more than the sacrifice, you will score higher. Anybody you like less, you will score lower. They are your practice round. So I think that is it for the judges. So next we have rules for the audience. Yes, this is my favorite part because I get to tell y'all what to do in your own home. So first and foremost, please follow, subscribe, share, all that good stuff on all of our social media. Our Instagram and Twitter is at Berkeley Slam. You can find us on Facebook at the Berkeley Poetry Slam. Also, comment on the feed. Let these poets know how much you love their poems. Be more enthusiastic than you would be at a slam in person. Without y'all, the audience, we are just some random motherfuckers screaming into the void. So I am asking the void to scream back at us. And last but not least, we have freedom of speech. Poets will be coming up here and saying whatever you want, whatever they want to say. So be prepared to hear things that might make you laugh, things that might make you cry, things that might upset you. But freedom of speech does not mean freedom from accountability. And that gives you the opportunity to exercise your freedom of speech and let people know how you feel. We just ask that all of these conversations happen respectfully. Because if these things happen disrespectfully, they become my problem. I have 99 problems. A baby is 98 of them. And money is another one. Do not give me 100 problems and it's a poet. That would be ghetto. I have enough on my plate already. So I trust y'all to be able to handle these situations with nuance and compassion and grace, because that is what we are here for, to learn and to talk to each other and to really share our work. And that can't happen if people feel restricted on what they can and cannot say. So now that we have gotten all these fucking rules out the way, that was a mouthful. I know y'all are tired of hearing me talking. Are y'all ready for the slam? Because we got a kick-ass list. Poets will be reading in this order. We have Mai, followed by Asantwa, followed by Knowledge. Gang, 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 gang. Give it up for everybody reading tonight.
Woo! Yay!
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah.
All right. So I think we are ready for our show. So on deck, we have our first poet of the slam, Mai. But coming up to the stage, give maximum love to your sacrifice, Colin.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Indeed.com. We're hiring.
You can find the good news tattooed in the stucco of every home. Find gospel and candle wax spilling over the sidewalk. I see God in every roadside vigil. Every balloon sent to the sky a prayer that maybe Big D was good enough for the Lazarus treatment. Maybe the whole hood is worth a resurrection. There's too many good folks dying in these streets for this just to be heavenly retribution. So I have to believe that all my niggas are in a better place. I have to believe that the prodigal son is more than just a parable and death is just a sinner's way of running back home. I have to believe that all my niggas were crucified like saviors and not thieves, that they died like Jesus, that there will be a second coming of gold chains and fake designer belts. Call it the return of the Mac before Mac turns burned down the block. I had to believe that every chalk outline was a miracle, bullet and blood payment for safe passage to the promised land. And maybe death is a sermon. Maybe everyone in this neighborhood is a pastor handing out holy hollow point to anyone who wants to meet the spirit. Call them strapped up shepherds guiding the flock into the light. And isn't that all what we're looking for? Something brighter on the horizon. And they say the sun don't shine in the ghetto or a casket. So heaven must be our first sunrise. Thank you. Oh my gosh, give it up for your sacrifice, Colin. Oh my gosh, I don't know who that poet was, but they're hella ugly. But that shouldn't affect your scores. Speaking of scores, judges, send your scores into our scorekeeper, Reggie. Gang, 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 gang. And now that we are warmed up, we are ready to get into the meat and potatoes of our slam. So on deck, we have a Santua, but coming up to the stage right now, please welcome our first poet of the night. Give it up for my...
Can y'all hear me okay?
Indeed.
You can.
Great. This is drunk text to the devil. Hey, did you block my number? Why don't you call my phone anymore? How could you leave me in my own darkness? It's empty in here. Without you, it's not so comfortable. I remember the good old days. We'd spend nights making a mockery of humanity, spend days trading you panic attacks for pills and taking them as if they could save me. I miss the warm embrace of something so empty it could fill me. I miss the caress of bones so sharp they could kill me. I miss you. Sorry, I fell asleep. I'm not gonna stop. You can't keep avoiding me like this. I'm lonely out here. See, some days I think I'm happy and I honestly don't want you anymore. Some days I feel like I'm learning what God could feel like. I think I could be a person that doesn't enjoy drinking knives in the dark. Someone that heals. I miss the way quicksand coated my throat and it felt safe. The way hail felt the same as gravity does usually. Miss the comfort of desperation. But then I remember how much you feel like home. How you know just how to fill the space behind my knees when I'm laying in bed. How to cloak me in sweet misery. You learned my dark edges and rough lines. You showed me the ropes of self-hatred and helped me pull any hope left out. You taught me how to be comfortable in the darkness, then left me in it. You taught me how to be this. Hey, could we talk? I feel like I'm losing myself. Feel like I'm drowning in who I used to be and who I want to or should be. Except sometimes I wonder if who I was is someone I should ever be again. Wonder if I should try blocking your number again. I think I'm starting to realize that I need to be someone new that doesn't know you. But like, I miss you and I want to hear from you. I miss having someone to call home. You've mastered temptation, learned to sell me bitter parables and trust. I got your voicemails. I miss you too. And I know, of course, I said that last time. It's just, I think I met myself. I looked in the mirror and you weren't there anymore. Felt like healing. Maybe I could intersperse a shower and meal with my survival. Felt like I could imagine a God and she wanted me to be alive. It feels like maybe I could be a person that gets old and drinks coffee on the porch. Like maybe I could forget the feeling of sharp bones and drinking knives. Like maybe I could forget I ever needed you. Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time for my gang, 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 gang. Send your scores
Let's
into
go,
our
poet.
scorekeeper, Reggie, aka the scorekeeper. Reggie, do we have scores for our last poet, our sacrifice? All right, they just came in. And for reference, our sacrifice got a score of a 27.8. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang, gang, gang. All right, and if you like anything that you hear tonight and you feel inspired and you just suddenly want to pick up your pen and start writing, I invite every last one of y'all to check out our free writing workshops before our shows every Wednesday at 7 o'clock via Zoom. Check out our Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff I told you to subscribe and follow. Check out those social media pages for more information about that. But our workshops are really kick-ass, and our workshop today was run by our feature. If you missed out, you missed out. Don't miss out again, because these workshops will be really fire, and they're for all levels of writers, from just picked up a pen to national championship level. We are just trying to provide a space for people to get their ideas on paper. Without further ado, on deck we have Knowledge, but coming up to the stage right now, give maximum love to Asantwa. Woo!
Woo!
Come on.
Can y'all hear me?
We can
Can.
Yay. Trigger warning, I have a toddler who I don't silence, so you might hear him in the background. The poem you requested. It was August 7th, 1950, on the east side of Oakland, California, Highland Hospital to be exact. The same year the television was invented. Magnolia still lingering on my grandmother's skin as I do. On days when silence highs, I suppose you wavered between feeling absolutely magical and as useless as you. You Black, brave, loud, demanding, shushed often but never silenced. I often remember the whites of your eyes, which were not white, but a dusky golden brown, the same brown that let us know the macaroni and cheese was done. Or that your voice would soon echo between project buildings like prophecy, followed by promises of pain. Funny. The notion of your wholeness had never occurred to me, and I wonder if it had occurred to you. We watched you swallow your sadness. It was nameless, but had a designated spot at our table. Laughter. When it left your mouth, it interspersed clouds and left rainbows in its place. You loved with your sharp parts, rainbow and cloud. I must have been selfish in a past life. Likely a coward who chose silence when screaming was in order. Certainly my former self had taken happiness for granted, or had been so covetous that they forfeited their own magic. It was September 18th, 2015, in sunny San Diego, California, Alvarado Hospital to be exact. I couldn't have chosen a better teacher. Thank you.
All right, give it up one more time for Asantwa. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, get your scores into Reggie. And for reference, our last poet got a 29.1. Ooh, celebrate the poet and not the scores. Also, I forgot to mention this, but poets, if you hear someone use word of the day, if y'all could shout that out in the chat, it really does help our scorekeeper keep track of who is using word of the day. And it's also just really great to celebrate people who can squeeze random words into their poetry at a moment's notice. That is a real fucking skill. But yes, and without further ado, on deck, we have our amazing feature, Ashley Harris. If you do not know who that is, you're gonna learn today. But coming up to the stage, give maximum love for our last poet of the first round. Give it up for Knowledge.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Can everybody hear me?
We hear you.
All right. Okay. A little background on this. I was unlawfully evicted about 5 days after George Floyd was killed, and the police broke my hand in doing so. So this is where this came from when I was laying in the hospital bed recuperating. This poem's called Done Done. Oh, my broken hand, will I ever be whole again? Beaten down by the man. Senseless violence I shall never understand. And I'm just lucky that I'm a white man, for if I were black, I wouldn't be writing again. I'd be dead while swine tread in the blood I bled from shots fired in my back instead of giving me any dignity. I cannot breathe. Are you hearing me? Instead, you are fearing me, while those awoke are endearing me and getting nearer, see, to the simple truth that we are all one. We all live under the same sun. When we all bleed, is it not red when it runs? To harm another is to harm yourself. This truth you could discover when you let go the programming of your youth. The indoctrination from this nation built by slaves, owned by hypocritical old white men who deign to say all men are created equal, and our founding document that one fateful day that we declared independence from our oppressors as we oppressed others. Oh, the irony. We are tired of it. Can't you see? People marching in the streets outnumber those who dress in sheets and hide behind a badge, which they use to badger those they deem lower than themselves, believing that they are elite when they truly are effete and on their way to defeat as they eat their words of sheet. And I'm tired of it. And if you had a heart or a soul, you'd be too, shouting Black Lives Matter because they do. And that's the truth. Claiming to be Christian while you go to church, cherry pick your Bible, whilst you ignore all the teachings of the woolly-haired, dark-skinned prophet whom you all profit from in this rigged system that racism done.
All right, give it up one more time for knowledge. Gang. Judges, send your scores in to Reggie. And for reference, our last poet, Asantwa, got a 29.0. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Shout out to everybody who's in the Zoom chat. I can't see the live stream chat. I'm assuming that y'all cheering, but I love the amount of support and like y'all quoting each other's lines and stuff. Like I love to see stuff like that. So keep it up, keep supporting each other. Because it's hard to get up in here and spit poetry to people who don't engage back with y'all. I'm really stalling until I get my scores for the last poet. Do we have scores? Reggie, do we have scores? I'm gonna do my score song until we have scores. I'm gotta have a beat so that it's not the music in my head. But do we have scores? Go ahead, send me them scores.
Collis, can you hear me?
What's up?
Did knowledge use word of the day?
I don't remember knowledge using word of the day.
I don't think I heard it.
And I don't see any shout outs. I don't think so.
I didn't hear word of the day either.
All right. As we are waiting for scores, shout out to the Starry Plow, our home venue. They will be open tomorrow and tomorrow only for St. Patrick's Day. That is for tomorrow, right? St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I'm not Irish or white enough to think I'm Irish, so I really don't care about St. Patrick's Day and don't keep track of the day, although I love the free drinks for anybody who does celebrate St. Patrick's Day and want to buy me a drink. But yes, tomorrow the Plow will be open for St. Patrick's Day. I was able to be there on Sunday and swing by the space, and it looks hella nice. Like, it looks really nice. So for folks who have been there before, expect like a really nice change and for everything to be set up and for but it to still feel like home. And for folks who have never been there before, get ready to have a lot of fun, because that's one of the funnest venues in the whole Bay. And it's really, really exciting on St. Patrick's Day. So I'm excited to see what is going on down there. Yeah, we have scores. Our last poet got a score of a 25.9, but the score is given up for the poet gang. And in case you did not know, gang. All right, we have come to the end of our first round. I am so excited to announce that our feature today is Ashley Harris. Ashley ran our workshop today, and I wound up getting booted out of the Zoom like halfway through the workshop, but we were doing like haikus and specifically senryus, and it was a really fun experience. Anybody who knows Berkeley Slam know we fuck with haikus tough, so it was a really fun workshop, but I'm gonna get into this bio so that y'all know exactly how dope Ashley is. Ashley Harris is an Aquarius that aspires to be both a physician and a poet. Okay, multi-talented, okay. I do not have the discipline or the education to be a physician, and barely enough to be a poet. So I'm glad that you can and will be both. She attended the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill with the Johnston Scholarship, a 4-year scholarship based on merit. She graduated in 2015 with a major in chemistry and Hispanic culture and literature with a minor in creative writing. She was able to publish a bilingual short story entitled Black Wall Street in both Spanish and English in an online magazine called Aguas de Pozos. After graduation, she won the Gerard Unk Fellowship Grant to travel to both London and Portobelo, Panama, to study the poetry and art between the two locations. In addition, she helped Dr. Renee Alexander-Craft with her studies on the Carnaval tradition in Portobelo through the online database Digital Portobelo. Oh my gosh, this is so much amazing work. Then she received her master's. Yes, not a jack of all trades, but a master in biomedical sciences at Wake Forest Schools of Medicine, and will be going there for medical school in the fall. Shout out to all the med students. She has published her work in journals such as Event Horizon and Cartlidge Lit. In addition, she has her work currently in the anthology All the Songs We Sing and The Future of Black. Currently, she is a member of the Carolina African American Writers the Carolina African Americans Writers Collective, and is working on publishing more of her work in the future. She has a poetry book called If the Hero of Time Was Black that has been published through Weasel Press. Ashley is currently learning the importance of rest, health, and the legend of Zelda. So everybody, please give a warm welcome Berkeley Slam round of applause to our amazing feature, Ashley Harris.
Hello. What's up, everybody? What's up, my Pacific time people?
Hey.
My name is Ashley. And everything that paragraph said was true. So I don't even have to say anything anymore. I don't have all the songs we sing, but I do have The Future of Black. So I'll read a poem that I have in here. It's an anthology that has Afrofuturism, Black comics, and superhero poetry from the Black perspective, because oftentimes all we see about ourselves is another slavery movie. So that's an important book. Definitely go get it if you can. It's being sold by Blair Press. So shout out to Blair Press. And the first poem that I'm going to read is called Birth. The next two poems I read, Birth and Spine. They are about the complicated relationships that we can have with our parent or parents, however many parents you have. So birth. I must have been born with an umbilical cord of tentacles, the way I suction cupped to my mother's womb like it was an abyssal seabed. It was a tank of red. I was blamed for her shattered endometrium, strewn like blades of dried ink. She said I broke through the best years of her life. My hands and feet named me a kraken that destroyed her inside out. And now I have grown into a giant octopus, anchor onto strangers like a den of rocks, an overgrown mollusk who is too hideous to be hugged by its creator, but still holds its arms out like she is a coral reef, seagrass, or shallow tide pool. She pulls me off still, a current stuck in backdrift. I still try to hold on to a muddy terrain with no structure. I sink my fingers on her shoulder as she rips me off. I came from her and she thought she birthed a monster. Sorry to start very sad. I just wanted to start there. And then maybe we can move our way up. The next poem is called My Spine is Held Up. Well, actually, it was called You Don't Have a Backbone, but I changed it. So, my spine is held up by women who gossip, who curl the backs of other women like hair rollers, who use their hunched esteem as stairs. I was born with all 24 vertebrae until my mother slapped some from my spine. My back is still missing some teeth from the hands of my bullies who all say no one will love me like them. So that one's short. Now I'm going to read another medical poem. Those last two, I consider them medical poems because they talk about the spine and the endometrium. So this one's about the liver, but this is not to make anyone feel bad. If you're drinking, that's fine. Just, just take care of yourself. But I'm not trying to make you feel bad. This is called We Think Our Body Forgets. We think our body forgets, but I'm sure it remembers the night its portal vein was a bayou. Let me say that again. We think our body forgets, but I'm sure it remembers the night its portal vein was a bayou of drug powdered, caked in hard liquor. The liver holds on to too much luggage, remembers every shot, how the scars resemble bullet wounds taken at the bar. You thought you had made it out each time alive. Don't gaslight your insides. In the end, it will never forget what you did. We write our pain on paper, words typed in Arial or New Roman. Our body writes it in cancer and tumor and metastasis and hemorrhage, aneurysm, the most dramatic language. So that one's also short. The next poem is also short. I've been writing so many short poems. I'll be trying to write something longer, but we're gonna get to something longer. So this is just a free write. It's about, the fact that we're not always employed. Doesn't always happen for one reason or another, whether we get laid off or whether we're tired. So it's called Since I Was 5. Since I was 5, I've been asked what I want to be. A firefighter, cook, lawyer, teacher, gardener. I couldn't exist without an answer. I am now unemployed and can't just be. I tell others I've been laid off, like I've lost my identity, as if I buried myself and left the funeral. That's okay. You can be, you could do. But what am I now? Have I reset back to nothing? Can I only be as labor? So now we're gonna move on to longer poems. So this poem is about Black girls going missing. And I compare it to the seasons, kind of. So it's called Nature. Black girls change like the season, here, then gone. Their youth cut short like the sun in daylight saving. If only we could set back the clock another hour to find her. I suggest we name each month after them so they are not forgotten. that there is an observance day on their birthdays, that every calendar has their photo, not one with guns or signs of deviance, but ones that prove their innocence. Everyone watches the news. Can they be named after hurricanes, since when they go, all are hit hard by the blow? How families strong and tall, like trees, turn into lines of weeping willows full of holes. How can they be found and not forgotten? It looks like the harvest moon reaps us young, that after fall, we must deal with winter's cold and absence, a solstice of souls no longer lingering. Maybe Groundhog's Day could tell us if they are in the ground or still alive, that if he sees his shadow in spring, they will be found. Our star constellations, not candlelight vigils to lead them home if they still have a pulse. If only this world were as urgent on finding those girls as climate change. Our missing posters are beginning to look like myths, like global warming. Some believe 64,000 are gone. Some think we are exaggerating. If only I could ask a stranger on the street, what would they do had their daughter disappeared? But we look like no one's children. Who will cry for them but the sky? So that's that one. The next one that I'm going to read is so fitting because today I had my last med school interview. I mean, I already know what school I want to go to, but it was tiring. It was tiring writing all those essays to get into school and even writing the essays for financial aid. So I wrote this. It's called Thank You for Applying. Thank you for applying to our medical school. Explain how you are disadvantaged. I am asked what abnormalities I possess that make me a qualified Black candidate. A butterfly and a caterpillar have the same genes. Tell me why you can't fly. I squirm in my chair like a half-smashed worm. Separate the individual spirals of steam from my headache. Crack knuckles like long crab legs. Roll my hands across scars like I am baking them into a sentence. Like muscle barely on the bone. Sad but delectable. Pain spills from my pencil like seasoning salt into their dipping sauce. This paper is an autopsy on the living, on me. I cannot be healthy here. The more bruises on a fruit, the more sweet. Good all your life, no way. Not when you are the color of a stain, a scribble through affirmative action. The answer box is a cage. My words, frantic lab rats gnawing the rails, soon to be dissected by pupils pointed like a red pen. Why can't I ink this answer in my ancestors' remnants? Tuskegee, Black women inmates sterilized in North Carolina state prisons. Anarcha, Betsy, Lucy, the blood vessels ripped to determine the relative areas of trunks to arteries, brains cut perfectly like grapefruits, chemicals proven poisonous by bark like, excuse me, chemicals proven poisonous by bark-like formations on Black skin, textbooks with paper, the paper that is the screams of my ancestors, because that's how I felt. So that was that. I'm gonna read some poems from this book. It is The Future of Black by Blair Press. And I like anime. I like One Piece. So if you like One Piece, I like One Piece too. Let's talk about it. If you haven't watched One Piece, it'll probably take you a year to get through because there's like 1,000 and something episodes, 1,047 manga chapters. But I wrote a poem for Usopp. Usopp is the only Black member of the Straw Hats. So it's called God Usopp. I lie to space and time, make movement my minion. My pockets are infinite with tricks. I explode suns from my hands as if my body was a universe. Swish liquid pepper juice like mouth rinse and breathe gas rings. Release mustard seeds like scattered showers. I have an army, if you believe me. I can lift any planet if I write its name on a smaller object. Say I will soon draw a sword and bring out a leaky pen, an organ bloodied with tales of a hero I want to be. Until then, I am a pencil sketch, can shape shift into however greatness is drawn, easily erased next to my comrades who don't share my shade or nose, which is so big they think I am alive from head to toe. But I too have talent. I know how to make a reach. May it be a story or my slingshot's string. Can I read two more poems?
Yeah, you got plenty of time.
Oh, okay, good. Okay. Ooh. Okay. So the next one's called Majora's Mask, which is not an anime, it's a video game. It's a great video game. It's a Zelda game. You only have 3 days before the moon is falling, but the major component is the evil mask, which is called Majora's Mask. Alone, it speaks to me. Do you want to be successful? Do you want your mother to be able to pay her bills? Do you want to go back home? You don't want to go back home. I don't want to go back home. The strap behind the mask is invisible if worn long enough. I forgot my original face. I laugh at jokes about my grandmother's slow draw and post-slavery tongue. It is easy to get to where I have to go, to not return to being swallowed. It is to taste the throat of the oppressor before they hurl a racial slur forward. The only way to survive is to be something else. Before a meeting, job interview, I never forget to put on the mask. I trace the inside of its figure. It dips in and is wooden like a coffin. I struggle to put it on sometimes. It's a shell. I hear the screams of those who wore it before, my ancestors. I talk about my ancestors a lot. Got to talk about them a lot. All right, I'm gonna read one more poem. It's a attempted golden shovel from a Maya Angelou poem. And so a golden shovel takes so basically the last word of the line is a word in the poem. So if you are to read the last word of every line, it will be that poem. So for instance, if I read the words of each of these lines, it'll say, your skin like dawn, mine like musk, one paints the other, the end of a sure beginning. So that's the original poem. And so this is what I added to those lines. Susan, oh yeah, sorry. This golden shovel is called colorism for now. Susan, Samantha, and Becky want to buy your complexion, the highest bidders for the skin. I scavenged every drugstore and Walmart in town like these culture vultures. All tones were sold out but dawn, daylight, and light dew. I now know why you took mine off the shelf. Why makeup paints gray undertones on me like I am a part of the scenery, an accessory, the Hottentot musk that makes you fun, me, the leather on your jacket. No one is safe from being hunted and worn like fur. My bruise paints them beautiful, gifts them scholarships, affirmative action, likes, the job I had to perm my hair skeleton to get, the beginning of a species extermination, all occupations on the board full of white ponds dipped in black blood, and I edged off MLK on a corner, homeless. It's hard to find a place when I need certain traits you have, when my inferior is a land grab. An end to a sorority girl's boredom. I want to steal back all of the kinky curly weaves and bronzer so my full percent other won't be their stolen check. They're 10% ethnic. The end of their edges and hairlines is what they'd risk for our end. We the cutest costumes. We the cutest when a trend, when of the taking. I prefer dark-skinned white women to black. A black man keyboards, eroding melanin from his fingers. Sure, this white woman is why his love for black beauty is beginning. Thank you.
Wow. Give it up one more time for Ashley Harris. That was amazing. Like I low-key forgot I was hosting. That's what that was.
Thank you.
And look, I'm caught up on the manga in One Piece. So that poem for Usopp really hit.
Yeah. Love Usopp.
Oh my gosh, there's things I can say. Where can people find your work, your book?
Yes, so my individual book, If the Hero of Time Was Black, you can find that on Weasel Press's website. You can also find it, I hate to say Amazon because Amazon is corrupt. So we'll just say you can find it on Barnes and Nobles as well. The Future of Black, you can find this on Blair Press, as well as For All the Songs We Sing. That's also on Blair Press.
Nice. All right. Thank you so much for coming
you.
out. Whew. Oh my gosh. Now we move into even more fire poetry. No fucking breaks. Poetry stepping on your neck all goddamn night. So we have a whole new round of poetry. Same poets, different round. Poets will be going in reverse order of last round. So, like the Bible says, the first shall be last and the last shall be first. And the one in the middle shall be forgotten like all the middle child. No, but if you went second, you'll just be second again. And it doesn't change your order. But for reference, the top 3 poets of the night, so these 3, whatever order they get cash prizes, and scores will be calculated cumulatively. So it will be last round scores plus this round scores will be your final score. Gang, gang, gang. So poets will be reading in this order. We got Knowledge, followed by Asantwa, and then ending the night off with My. Give it up to everybody touching the mic again. Gang, 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 gang.
Woo!
All right, without further ado, let's get right into the money round. So on deck, we got Asantwa, but coming up to the stage, give one last round of applause to Knowledge.
Okay, this one's titled 3 Little Pigs. 3 little pigs knocking at the door, huffing and puffing and talking some more. 3 little pigs saying, "Let us in. We just want to enter your big bad wolf den. Do you have a warrant?" is heard the reply. Sure we do. The 3 little pigs lie. They believe that they are the law, judge, jury, as well as executioner, and that the Constitution is a flaw as well as the institutions of. So they huff and puff on the door, eventually breaking it down, yelling, "You know the score, get down on the ground," lie face down, ransacking homes, leaving no unturned stones, going through your life with a fine-toothed comb. "Why don't you just leave us alone?" is heard the pleas. The children cry and moan while down on their knees, begging, "No, please, please, mister, please don't shoot our dog." Bang, bang! Rover won't come over. He's no threat at all. Now that he's a bloody puddle, don't be so befuddled. We're here to protect and serve. Can you believe the nerve? Civil servants, my ass, just enforcers of class who lack any of their own, unaware of the seeds that they have sown. discontent and malcontents I must lament. Now is no time to repent. With these words I do vent. In any event, it's time to take back our freedom from these fascists and bleed them dry. Because if we don't, it's just civil suicide.
Yeah.
One more time for knowledge. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, send your scores into Reggie, aka the scorekeeper. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome. On deck, we have but coming up to the stage right now. Give it up for Asantwa. Woo!
Let's go, poet.
I'm not royalty, bitch. I'm omnipotent. Don't believe me? Ask Jesus. We with that shit. Like hurricanes with slave names, cracker, fuck your bricks. Won't be no auctions today, ho. We sinking ships. So what happens when spaceships become slave ships and white supremacy pimps interstellar travel the same way it did the Mayflower? When Earth becomes Africa and Africa's forgotten, would you trade me for fancy space fabric, stardust, or moon rocks? Determined to save our pennies so we could send our babies to Martian universities so they could learn about how history repeats itself. Hypothesizing on why Earthlings are the new niggas and why are there so many niggas in zero gravity prisons. Meanwhile, trigger happy pigs in rocket boots are still killing niggas, both new and old. So we clog traffic on Saturn's rings in protest, proclaiming to fight differently than our earthbound ancestors, simultaneously looking back to Earth for answers instead of further into the stars, terraforming loopholes, charting anomalies that allow us to break cycles so we can dream and see beyond our conditions, further than our fingertips, are light years past the length of our legs and whatever surface they're attached to, if they're attached at all. Thank you.
All right, give it up one last time for Asantwa. Gang, 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 gang. Judges, get your scores into Reggie. And for reference, Knowledge got a score of a 25.3. Fuck the scores. Give it up for the poet. All righty. The poetry has been amazing tonight. And if you want to see a more amazing poetry, check out our YouTube page, Babe Poets Unite. We have all of our live streams, not just at Berkeley Slam, but also Oakland Slam. Our live stream, not just our in-person shows, but not just our online shows, but also our previous in-person shows are all recorded onto our YouTube page, as well as feature videos from specific poets doing specific poems on stage. So if you want to see more amazing poetry, maybe even poetry from poets who have touched the stage tonight, definitely check out our YouTube page, Babe Poets Unite. And without further ado, we have come to our last poets of the Slam. Aww. But at least we get to find out who won this money after. So on deck, we have wrapping up, finding out who wins this money, and going home if you aren't already home already, and putting the baby to bed. But coming up to the stage right now, give it up for my...
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Let's go, poet. Come on.
Let's go.
Mic check.
We can hear you.
Okay. This is connected to the first one. It's drunk text to a god. The first time I ever sipped sunsets like they were wine, I was drinking happiness from the hip dips of my first love, and she was just like you, man. She chased adrenaline like it could cure curses, but I always wanted to feel anything. I fell in love with the false idea of you, masked in sweat dripping bliss. You left me at my lowest. I think I found God in the idea of stability. I think I found you in the mediocrity of survival. You showed me that maybe I could find the light in my own skin. Hey, I thought I saw you the other day. The rain stopped for a second and I thought my heart stopped with it, but then it was gone and you were gone with it. And I was just standing on the train tracks at 7 a.m. waiting to come home. I've crushed pills and left them at your doorstep. I've sent love letters to the people who looked like you. I've broken my own bones over people who were never you. I spent so long trying to find you in some corner of my world. I could create 1,000 endings to this story. I could strip my body of its peace and still find home in the hollowed out corners of your life. I could find you in any darkness. I think I found God in the idea of stability. I think I wanted to learn to be okay, but I think I'm forgetting how to fold my tongue into speech, how to coax out the emotions. Hey, I took some time to learn to live, took some time to find home in my own love. I think I learned to imagine a future that included both my body and truth. My body didn't know love and honesty like this until now. I have twisted the skin into a body that wants to love me back. I think you're not what people think. I think maybe you are just deep laughs or late nights or hazel eyes. I think maybe God is more like finding home in other people or lighting the side for sharing or bringing an extra hat to the march or this reminded me of you or I will wake up early and take the train for you on a Sunday or maybe I have just learned how to want to live. Thank you.
Give it up one last time.
Yeah.
Gang, 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 gang. And for reference, Asantua got a score of a 28.0. Give it up for the poet and not the scores. Gang, 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 gang. And now I get to stall for time as we're waiting for the scores for the last poets and everything to get calculated. So now is a perfect time to tell you about all the shows that happen in the Bay. So first off, we have, because we're the best, the most important, every Wednesday, right here on Zoom until, what's the date? Is it the 9th?
Nah, so next week is our last online show.
The 16th. No, not
No.
today.
You can't do that.
I'm talking about when's our first show in person?
April 6th is Story Plow.
That's what I fucking thought. Okay, cool. So next week will be our last in-person, our last online show. We will be taking a break the week after. And then April 6th, we will be back in person at the Starry fucking Plow. Yo, we're really excited to be back. We're really excited to be back at the Plow. It has been almost exactly a little bit over 2 years since we've been at the Plow. We would usually be having, finals right about now. Like we were having semis back in 2020 when we had to shut everything down. But for all of y'all who are not in the Bay, do not worry. The Oakland Slam is still virtual. The Oakland Slam is every third Tuesday, so yesterday, on Zoom. So check out the Oakland Poetry Slam. That is still virtual. Rich Oak Alchemy open mic every first and third Saturday is also virtual on Instagram. Check them out at Rich Oak Slam. And we also plan to keep virtual shows going as long as possible because we fuck with all y'all and the community that we've built across the fucking country. It's been absolutely amazing to meet dope ass artists that I would not have known or met otherwise, and keep in contact with dope ass artists who were no longer able to stay in the Bay because of the pandemic. So it's been great to know y'all, and we want to continue doing stuff with y'all. So we're gonna keep shit going.
That's right, best friend.
Are there any other shows that I'm forgetting?
No, that's about it.
Yeah, I think that's about it. We have our scores. All right, I need a drum roll. Thank you so much for the drum roll with the baby rattle. I love it. All right, in third place with a score of 51.2, winning a total of 20. I hope they are American dollars. Give it up for Knowledge. Woo! Is there anything you want to say to the people?
This is my first time spitting my stuff in the group, so that's cool. Thanks for
Nice. Thank you so much for coming. Give it up for first timers.
First timers.
Yes. Thank you so much for gracing our stage with your presence. We really hope to see you again next week and at our other shows as well. All right. Oh shit, where's my beer? I need to wet the palate. I was mad as hell because it says brewed with real pineapples and this shit tastes like beer. That was kind of irritating. All right, I need another drum roll because in second place, boom, 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 with a score of a 56.9, winning 30. I hope they are American dollars. Give it up for my. Woo!
Woo!
Thing to say to the people.
My.
Yay, thanks. I'm probably gonna get myself a lot of pasta. So yeah, it's my vibe.
We love pasta.
We stand nice. All right. Thank you, Mai, for gracing our stage. It's been good to see you always. And wow, I'm sorry, I just looked at the scores more closely and did math, and these scores were fucking close.
Hold on. Wait.
Ow!
Because in first place, let's get a drum roll, with a score of a 57.0. Give it up for Asantwa.
Gang.
You go, girl.
Anything you have to say to the people?
Thank you. I have a book coming out May 7th on Nomadic Press. Love, Lyric, and Liberation.
I know what you mean.
When is that show again?
Mommy.
It's my first collection being published on Nomadic Press. It's called Love, Lyric, and Liberation. Comes out May 7th.
Shit. Look, it's first of all, give it up for publication, but also if you're from the East Bay, you know how reputable Nomadic Press is, and getting published with Nomadic Press is no joke. So I'm proud of anybody published with Nomadic Press, because I sure as hell ain't. But shout out to Nomadic Press, they're really dope people. I do believe they have like open mics and stuff going on, so check them out too as well. Congratulations on getting published with them. That's really dope. And please come out to our other shows, and since you're local, like come out to Berkeley Slam with me in person.
I'm an older head. It's been a minute since I've been out.
Well, if you find the time and energy, we would love to have you in person. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much to everybody who touched our stage. Thank you so much to Reggie for scorekeeping. Thank you so much to the god of live streams, Arvin, for live streaming our show. Thank you so much to Prophet for being here, managing the bout, making sure I had all the right information. Thank you to Tino and all our other crew members that make this show possible. And thank y'all crazy motherfuckers who sat here for like an hour and 48 minutes and listen to us do poetry on the internet. It would not be the same without y'all. And thank you so much to Ashley, our feature. Oh my gosh. That was an amazing feature. Please tune in next week for our feature. Our feature is dope as well. Check out Ashley's book on everything except on everything except for Amazon. Check out Barnes and Noble. Thank you so much. Thank you again, Asanswa. Thank you, Mai. Thank you, Leg. Thank you, Arvin, for keeping this going. I was expecting you to cut off the live stream right now. I'm really stalling until you cut off the live stream. We will
Next
see
week's
y'all.
feature is Melanie Clay.
Our next feature is Melanie?
Melanie Clay.
Melanie, okay. Similar names. All right, Melanie Clay is our next feature. Please check out our next show. Why isn't the live stream cut off yet? This is so fucking awkward.